Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. Force here with another update video. This is for the week of October the 29th to November the 4th. I'm sure many of you are wondering right now, Force, where the hell have you been for the past few days? I would reply to that question. If you followed me on Twitter, you would know by now that for the past couple of days I have been moving, and yes, this is pretty much my third move in about a year and a half. I'll explain in just one moment exactly why that is. But what we're going to do in this one is actually a little bit different. Normally in these update videos I do a couple of things. I talk about the new releases for the week, and I also talk about what my planned content is for the week here on the YouTube channel. I want to start this update video though by giving you guys just a small little story as to why I've been moving so much and what exactly is going on in my life. Now, if you're one of those people who could care less about my personal life and just want to hear about this week's new releases and my planned content, or basically what I can do for you, well, I don't blame you, and I'll provide you an annotation so that you can go ahead and skip all this story mumbo jumbo and get to the meat of the video. So let's talk about why I have been moving so much. So my first major move of this year happened when my girlfriend got accepted to the University of Maine. So basically what happened is we were living down in the Portsmouth, New Hampshire / Kittery and York, Maine area. We lived over the past few years. We've lived together for about 3.5 or 4 years now, and over the past few years, that's the area that we've been basically staying in, finding apartments in. Well, she got accepted to UMaine, which is right smack in the middle of Maine, basically here in Orono. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of stuff around here. So what we ended up doing is we did end up move to a town just outside of Orono. And that at first seemed like it was a really great thing. We moved into this Victorian home. It seemed really beautiful. We were really excited about our new adventure in a brand new town, a brand new place, someplace we had never been before. And of course, she was excited to start going to school as well. And you know, we got everything set up. We moved into a new place, and at first we thought, great, everything here is wonderful. Well, after a while, we get to know our neighbors. We actually had the first floor of a house that was split in half. So there was a shared common area. It was basically the entry to the building as well as a staircase up to the second floor, and then just our door was right on the right. So, you know, we would interact with them every once in a while, and they seemed like they were decent enough people. And we started noticing that there were a lot of middle-aged men stopping by quite frequently. Now, that was baffling to me for a few reasons. First time I saw a middle-aged man, I thought, okay, that's one of their fathers. And then I saw a second one, I said, okay, so now I've met both of their fathers, right? And then there was a third and a fourth one, sometimes a fifth one, all in one day. So it was a couple living upstairs, a female and what I assumed was her boyfriend. So I thought, this is weird, why are there so many middle-aged men stopping by? The first thing that honestly popped into my head was, okay, they're probably selling drugs. It's not unheard of, this happens, and, you know, as long as they're not something crazy, like, as long as they're not like running a meth lab upstairs, I'm not going to freak out too much about it. Well, what continued to happen is there were a steady stream of middle-aged men, about 4 or 5 a day, every day of the week, always stopping in. And we did a little research, we looked up her name online, and we found out that in the past she had been arrested for prostitution. Wow. So we move into a new town, a brand new place, someplace we've never been before. I've got no friends in the area, she just started school, and we now live under a prostitute. Now, don't get me wrong, I am okay with people doing what they want with their lives and with their bodies. The problem is when it affects me, that's when it really becomes an issue. So we live under a prostitute. All right, whatever, this girl has sex for money. Okay. You know, it's not really the end of the world. The thing is, though, when it starts to affect me or my loved one, my girlfriend, that's when it becomes a problem. And the issue with this for us was that, well, there was a bunch of really creepy ass middle-aged guys all the time, all day, every day, all hours of the night. Sometimes, you know, 3, 4, 5 in the morning, stopping by, ringing our doorbell, looking into our windows, because mind you, we were on the first floor. And while if it were just me, I'd say this guy's a weirdo, it's a lot worse when you live with, you know, a young, tiny female where she feels threatened, and understandably so. So that was kind of uncomfortable, but what ended up happening is the girl and what I thought was her boyfriend turned out to just be her pimp who were living above us. For some reason they stopped paying their rent, which I don't quite know why. I mean, she was working a ton, 4 or 5 guys a day. Could have assumed she would have been able to afford that. Turns out she had a nasty drug habit as well. Who would have thought? Those things kind of go hand in hand sometimes. So they stop paying their rent and they leave. And we think, okay, great. We moved into this new place, you know. That was a weird situation. It was a little uncomfortable, but they're gone now, so we're going to get some new neighbors. New neighbors came. We meet them. We think, oh, they seem pretty nice. They seem pretty decent people. And, you know, a couple weeks go by. There was a package delivered to our house. Now, we weren't there at the time. We come back in the evening. The package is missing. We ask our brand new neighbors, hey, have you seen our package? We had something dropped by UPS. It's been confirmed here. We checked the tracking number. Nope. Okay, so they said they haven't seen it. A couple days go by and we ask them again, has anything come up? Have you seen anything yet? They say they haven't seen anything. And then we do a little more research, this time on our new neighbors. Turns out the guy who was living above us, we have now since moved, of course, he has been convicted of burglary and forgery, lying to the cops, giving them a false name, all sorts of stuff. So the immediate assumption is he probably took my things. So we go from living under a prostitute and a pimp who have a drug problem, they can't pay their rent, to living under a burglar who has taken our stuff. I confronted him. I said, hey, I know about your past. I know about your record. I know that you kind of steal stuff. So did you take my package? He said, no, I don't take packages. I break into schools and houses and I'm aggressive. And at that point we thought, all right, that's enough. We just moved here, brand new place. We're still getting to know the area, and first a pimp and a prostitute, and now a thief who's like coming at us and taking our packages within the first few weeks of moving in. So we decided it's time to move again, and that is the story of what led to my most recent move. We've actually moved into a really nice part of this area of the state, just outside of where her school is, which is in Orono. And I think we're in a really great spot right now. We moved into this really nice brand new condominium. The community seems pretty good here, and I think this will be a nice place for us to stay before we actually go get a home. So that's a little story. Holy crap, that took about 7 minutes. I apologize. But that's the reason that I've been moving so much, and the reason I thought to do this story and to let you guys know kind of what my situation was is because I get a lot of questions like, Forrest, why are you moving so much? Didn't you just move? Well, this is why this is happening. Yeah, so we moved up to this area because she was going to school. We deal with some crazy-ass, creepy-ass neighbors stealing our stuff and pimping. And then we say, yeah, that's enough of that. We're moving again, and that's basically what landed us in this current position. Now, because of all of this really put me in a pretty tough bind. Our chosen date to move couldn't have been worse. So we moved during a thunderstorm. If you happen to miss it this week, not even a thunderstorm, it was like a tornado, it was a hurricane. If you happen to miss it, the Northeast got absolutely slammed with a huge storm. Lots of areas of this country it really had a lot of problems. I think like there was like subways in New York that got flooded. It wasn't so bad here, but on the day of our move, there were thunder showers, and that's actually, that delayed what we had planned to do, and as a result, yesterday and today, so Tuesday and Wednesday, they were both filled with moving nonstop. I have literally been picking up, putting down packages and giant pieces of furniture for the past 2 days. I am thoroughly exhausted, and that is why you have not seen content for the past couple of days. That is the exact reason behind it, because of this move, because we decided to move during a hurricane. Great idea. For all those reasons, that is why the content has been limited. But I'm here to tell you, I'm back. We're sort of set up. We've got a lot of unpacking to do, but my office is somewhat assembled. I need to get some sound dampeners in here because there's a little bit of an echo right here. My voice is kind of bouncing around the room, so hopefully we can get that fixed. But yeah, we are here. I am ready to rock. It is time to make more videos, time to get working again on the channel. And with that, let's talk about this week's new releases, what I missed as a result of this move, and hopefully what I can try to come back and get some content on. Alright, so on Monday this week, there was a release of Condemned Criminal Origin and Guns of Icarus Online. I actually got an early copy of Guns of Icarus Online, so big thanks to those guys. Unfortunately though, because of everything that I just explained to you, I wasn't able to take a look at that. So hopefully I'll get a chance to actually dive into the game sometime this week or early next week, and I can show you a first 40 of that. Also on Monday was the release of Primal Carnage. I did get to take a look at that video earlier last weekend. If you missed it, check it out. Shooting dinosaurs or being dinosaurs and eating people, both those things, lots of fun. Game's pretty decent, kind of lackluster on the release content. There's only actually one game mode, and I think 3 or 5 maps, something like that. But again, they're going to be adding to that, as I mentioned prior in the video. On Tuesday, we saw the release of Natural Selection 2, Need for Speed Most Wanted, and the Darksiders 2 Abyssal Forge DLC. All of these things I wanted to cover, but again, I was moving, so didn't get a chance to. Today was the release of PID and Painkiller Hell and Damnation. Again, 2 titles I plan to take a look at, but too busy moving. Tomorrow we see the release of Cargo Commander, which I have already made a video on, so please go ahead and check that out if you haven't yet. It is a 2D platformer, but it's pretty cool. Even if you don't like 2D platformers, check out that video. You might actually like this one. A little bit different than the standard 2D platformer. And then on Friday, we've got the PC release of 007 Legends. Oh, another James Bond title to ruin the GoldenEye name. Not really, just can't live up to the GoldenEye name. I guess that's the way to say it. So all of those games came out this week. It was such a busy week, and beyond, on top of this, there was actually DLC for a few more games that I'm not mentioning here that I would have also really liked to take a look at. It was just a crazy week for releases, and really awful timing for me to leave. I'm going to do what I can to try to get some of this stuff covered in the next week, so long as not a whole new batch of tons of new releases come out. I think next week's a little bit calmer though, so that should give me some time to catch up on all these games that were released this week that I didn't get a chance to cover in time. So now let's go ahead and talk about what my plans for this week are. Well, first and foremost, we'll be picking up the Force feed that will be back and on its regular schedule tomorrow. In this new place, my office setup is a little different. We'll see if that changes the setup of the show or not. I'll try to keep it more or less the same. I feel like it's going to need a change overall at some point in the future. I don't think I'll do that immediately, but maybe sometime within the next 6 months we'll see a change to the layout of the Force feed. I don't mean even the show structure, just kind of where I'm sitting or standing, who knows. So Force feed will be coming back Thursday and Friday. You can expect that. Gonna get a Magic the Gathering video as well as some SC2. I'd like to get a couple of those done tonight. We'll see if I have the time. Also, I think there might be a new god coming out for Smite. It's been a couple of weeks since the last release, and I think they said they plan to release those every 2 to 3 weeks. So if there's a new god coming out to Smite, I'll see if I can get a look at that. I know there was one planned sometime soon. I'm not sure if it's this Friday or not. I'll check that out and let you guys know. And again, a few of the titles that we mentioned for releases this week, I'm going to try to get a couple of first 40 videos. And also, I guess this is a good opportunity to ask you guys what you think of the first 40 setup. I've been kind of going back and forth for a while as to how to structure first impression videos of new releases. It's definitely something that I want to do. In terms of how I'm going to exactly do it, well, it's kind of been teetering back and forth for a while. I like the idea of First 40. I think it is kind of a catchy name. I think it's a fair chunk of content to get you guys introduced. And having a little bit of information on the title and maybe even the developer is something I also try to do just to make it informative more than just a let's play. So yeah, that is that. Oh, and one last thing, the NDA for the War Z beta lifts this week, I think. I think it's on November 2nd, if I recall. Either way, sometime very soon, the NDA for the War Z will be lifting. Now, I got into the beta through the pre-order program that they had going on, so I've had a chance to play the game for a little bit. Hopefully we see some improvements. I haven't played it in about a week and a half now. I basically played it, I got into the alpha, I suppose it was called. Played it for a few days and then kind of just stopped. I said, I can't make any coverage for a couple of weeks, so I'm going to wait and pick it back up later on. So I'm going to spend some more time with the War Z, and as soon as the NDA lifts, we should have a couple of videos coming out on that. At least, if not the day of, a couple of days after. And that will wrap up this update video. A little bit of a different structure this week, and I also know it's been a few weeks since the last update video. Everything leading up to this move has been a little crazy. Dealing with neighbors who steal stuff and threaten you is really not the greatest way to live, and a little bit stressful. I bought a bat and a couple of knives just in case. I mean, it's really rough. I'm really happy I'm out of that situation though, and that I can get to a place where I can focus on my work and not worry about people stealing my shit, you know? Alright guys, that's gonna do it here for the update video. Thank you so much for watching. Regular schedule of content will be coming up very soon. Thursday and Friday we should see a fair amount of videos, and then hopefully some of that spilling over into the weekend, and then next week we will be back on track and ready to rock, and something that rhymes with rock, you can use your imagination. Thanks guys for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe, and as always, keep watching and keep owning.